Morning, I'm Steven Spriggle. This is MorningBit. Let's get to it. Top 3 things I think are important today for Bitcoin. The first of which is the massive heist that recently happened out of Sheep Marketplace. And what's most interesting to me is that it's an ongoing event that users are actively tracking the Bitcoins as they move through various addresses, laundering services, and wallets. And what is really great about this is that the Bitcoin protocol itself, if users are actively watching, de-incentivizes dishonesty around these kinds of activities. Because if a user has obtained Bitcoins through nefarious means and users are actively watching the chain of transactions that occur after that, it potentially makes it hard for users to go to a fiat currency or even conduct business with the digital currency with another individual or business if they're actively watching where these Bitcoins are coming from. So this kind of crosses over into the idea of red listing of Bitcoins, which I am for in one respect if the Bitcoins were obtained through nefarious means that can be confirmed. Where I'm against red listing is that if you mandate red listing of coins if there's no identity tied to it. I think Bitcoin still should be anonymous or pseudonymous in that respect, and they shouldn't be red listed just because they're anonymous. The second thing that I think is really important today is the idea of how challenging is it to understand Bitcoin, and that relates to what is the minimum IQ that you must have in order to really understand Bitcoin and use it with all the technicalities that are currently in place with it. The overall consensus was slightly above average. More what I think is important in being able to understand Bitcoin, and this is a problem Bitcoin has as well, is that if you don't fundamentally understand what currencies are and how they work, it's going to be really hard to understand Bitcoin. So I think there's a gap in understanding of how fiat works in respective nations. Thus, it's hard to understand how Bitcoin works because there's slight nuances in how Bitcoin works differently from various existing currencies. And so that crossover is challenging. Bitcoin definitely has an educational gap that has to be overcome. But I think over time, as it becomes more ubiquitous and the tools to actually go in and out and use it while you're in it becomes simpler, it's going to be much more easy to understand overall. And then the third thing that I think is really cool today is there's a company called Justcoin out of Norway that is giving no-fee transactions in and out of Bitcoin for both USD and Euro until the end of the year. So you've got about 30 days left to capitalize on this. But it's a cool service. Essentially, they are operating as middleman, in a way kind of a clearinghouse, but not really. Essentially, what they're doing is if you want to buy Bitcoin, you put your fiat into their account, and then they wait until another individual sells, and then they match you up and then do the transaction for you. They're saying that they're just simply allowing people to meet, but essentially they're kind of operating as a middleman. It's a great service though, and for no fee, it's a good time to jump in for the next few days to capitalize on that if you want to minimize your fees overall. I hope everybody is having a great day. If you're a company doing something really interesting in Bitcoin, send me some logos. I'll put it on the wall. I'll talk about you in the show, and I hope everybody has a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.